7:25 p.m., where we get to beam a searchlight on topical political issues that is bedeviling every sector of the Nigerian political landscape. And there's quite a lot in the political arena that we can actually discuss right here in the studio. Sometimes most of the issues that we have, the time frame is really not enough to discuss all this because we need to get your reactions as well. Well, you know that also on the program, I don't do it alone. I usually have, analysts, political analysts, theorists as well, who give us their own supposed perspective to some of these issues that we discuss right here on the political spotlight. Most times they're either physical or they join us, via the telephone, where they get to express themselves and give us a logical understanding or comprehension of most of these political issues. So it's quite an interesting one right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. So if you haven't been part of this program, well, I would implore you to tell a friend to tune in at this moment to get themselves intellectually edified on the conversation that we'll be having. The idea is to have a logical perspective to most of these political issues, so we don't just have a random comprehension on the surface, educate ourselves on this platform. And like I said earlier, it's an interactive program. So once again, my name is Esther Machiku. I officially welcome you to the political spotlight. Tune in right now on VOP 90.3 FM. That's the dial. And we're also streaming live on YouTube. You can follow my YouTube handle as well, Estiq Media. That's ESTIQ MEDIA on YouTube. Across several social platforms on X, Facebook, and Instagram, it's Esther Machiku, or on Instagram it's at Esther Unwaz. First of all, before I commence on the program officially, I want to say thank you to a couple of you who actually encourage us on VOP 90.3 FM, understanding the kind of research that we have to undertake when we come on this platform, because we know that we have quite a lot of intelligent respondents and listeners who either view us on YouTube or listen to us terrestrially. So I want to say thank you to some of you who actually encourage us with your words, who are actually very kind. One of such persons is Ivy Paisley. Ivy Paisley, thank you so much. She's always encouraging. She appreciates the hard work that we put in here. So Ivy Paisley, thank you so much for, helping us and encouraging us anytime that you're able to view any of our content right here on VOP 90.3 FM. It's a collective team effort that we try to intellectually edify you and give you the information as they are, not propaganda, not fake news, and no sentiments. All right, so let's start off with the conversation. There is an unfortunate disaster in Maiduguri, and I must tell you that it is something that could have been averted, but as usual, we are in a country where when it comes to the needs or the dire need of the people, there is usually a deaf ear turning to it. Now, here is a situation with the dam collapse, which according to environmentalists was bound to happen because authorities had turned deaf ears to prior warnings from environmentalists in and around the region. Now, according to experts, there had been cracks in the dam's walls and erosion had taken over the embankments, a result of years of abandonment that weakened its structure. Now, a few days before the flooding uproar, dozens of residents living near the dam were asked to leave for fear of impending hazards that may result from the overflowing dam. Forewarned again by residents and concerned people of Borno, the government insisted that the state was not under any flooding threats, claiming to have done some independent assessment of the dam. All right, now a harm angle investigation has, however, revealed a case of negligence on the side of the state government and mismanagement of funds by officials of concerned ministries. Behind this neglect is a broader pattern of mismanagement that plagues infrastructure projects across Nigeria. The Alao Dam is not an exception. Funds disbursed for the dam's maintenance were misappropriated with little to no accountability. Now the people of Maiduguri are paying the price of the systemic rot. Okay, so the dam's location reveals that two gates control the flow of water out of Lake Alao. For nearly 2 years, only one of the dams have been functional. Now, satellite evidence shows that the dam on the western side of the lake has been destroyed since October 2022, with the surface destroyed beyond recognition. All right, now there are satellite images to show you the decay journey of the dam in the past years. So if you go on Google right now and you actually search on, Web Earth, you check for the Alao Dam, you can actually see the images telling you the periodic decay of that particular dam. When the dam was intact, when the cracks began to happen, and when it eventually shoved out due to the torrential rain. Now, in October 2022, satellite images show water violently and uncontrollably overflowing the damaged structure. The dam was likely destroyed sometime between August and October 2022. So the imagery reveals the extent of the damage to the dam, with more than 50% of the structure wrecked beyond recognition. So also, the latest available imagery of the lake shows the dam remains in disrepair with no signs of restoration. This condition persisted until the recent flooding earlier this week, which of course, eventually everything just flooded into communities where people reside. So apparently, the federal government raised people's hope after the flooding with a pledge to upgrade the Alao Dam to avoid future flooding. Well, apparently, funds running into hundreds of millions had been disbursed for the rehabilitation of the dam, but were either mismanaged or misappropriated. So apparently, there is a public portal dedicated to tracking the federal government spending. More than 309 million naira were disbursed for rehabilitating the Alao Dam between 2018 and 2024. The funds were released in 13 tranches by the Chad Basin River Development Authority to different companies. In 2020, one of the companies, Dalori Construction Nigeria Limited, received 51.7 million naira in 3 months, 13.6 million in March, 12.3 million naira in April, and 25.8 million in June. All right, and the contractor was SM Gudumbali Nigeria Limited, another company, and was also paid 8 million naira in 2018 and 7.6 million naira the following year. Similarly, Balmari Investment Nigeria Limited was paid 14.6 million naira in 2022 and 21.4 million naira a year before. On November 12, 2022, Aono Engineering and Construction Services Limited was paid 17 million naira for rehabilitation works on the dam. In June 2023, Kukabam General Merchant Niger Limited was paid 23.4 million for the same purpose. On September 30, 2023, the agency disbursed more than 16.2 million naira to Federal Inland Revenue for VAT in respect of Hamal and Partners Limited for the final payment on Alao Dam. Hamal and Partners Limited received the highest amount of money for the same project other companies were paid for. It received 122.4 million naira 2024. The agency also paid 26 million naira to Bulgari Global Link Nigeria Limited for rehabilitation work on the Alao Dam. Curiously, in the name of rehabilitation, the agency has disbursed funds to different companies in the past 5 years. Home angle satellite investigation, shows a pattern of abandonment which had caused a damming decay of the Alao Dam infrastructure, which later caused flooding that has almost swallowed the entire capital city. So again, it's quite unfortunate. Apparently, this agency, Home Angle, they contacted the managing director of the CBDA, Abba Garba, for comments concerning the disbursement of the funds and repair of the dam. And according to what Abba Garba said, we are at the airport about receiving the minister. Let's talk later. And Home Angle said they've not been able to reach him since then. So last year and year before it, communities around the dam were flooded, and despite several warnings, the government had refused to take preventive measures. In fact, there was a research from the University of Maiduguri that established the condition of the dam. Now, assuming the government had taken preventive measures and repaired the dam, it would have saved a lot of resources. Human lives and properties would not be destroyed. Around now, 274 Boko Haram inmates have escaped because the dam broke the prison walls. Everywhere is flooded, so everyone is looking for where to reside. Apparently, earlier in September, there was an agency that went to check on the dam, And they gave a report that everything is fine when the residents were sending an alarm to the state government that, see, this dam, we're afraid it's not okay. It could break off anytime soon. Now, if you check on the web, you will see that the dike is like a vise, a raised slab platform with several ridges around it. All right, it helps to curtail the flow of water. It controls it. That's what they call a dike. That's DYKE. So it controls the water from whenever rain falls. There is no spillover into the communities where people reside. Now, what happened now was that dike that was kind of cushioning the the current of the water, especially when it rains, from having to overflow, that dike wall is what broke. It had gotten so weakened that the pillars, that's the ridge pillars, can no longer hold the dike. So it just broke through and the water just overflooded the communities in that region. This is not the first time disasters like this that could be prevented was not prevented because of neglect, of misappropriation of funds, financial embezzlement, the government in power or the state government not considering it a priority until there is an emergency. And right now, several funds are being allocated to take care of those who are displaced. A couple of them, no food. And apparently in Borno State, the food is so expensive. Do you know that a loaf of bread is being sold for 2,000 naira in Borno right now? So if not for the palliative measures from the state government, from the federal government, and a couple of humanitarian aids, I don't even know what would have happened to a couple of people. More than 30 people, they say, have died, but we know that it's beyond 30 or even 50 at this moment. Boko Haram commanders, 274 of them, they are being indicated to be missing. And we're still trying to curb or clear the scourge of insecurity. So if these individuals have been released, obviously, they will enter homes. They will go to other states and seek refuge and continue their mayhem. So it's quite unfortunate that this is happening. This is one of the conversations that we'll be having today on the political spotlight. Why do we continue to endure issues like this that the government could actually prevent? Right now, all the resources that could have been channeled to prevent this particular threat to life is what is being channeled to sort of, ameliorate the dire condition of the people in that region. So again, welcome to the political spotlight on VOP 90.3 FM. You can begin to send your WhatsApp messages so that we know precisely the direction of your conversation. Another aspect again that we want to look into this time around is the political scene. We just finished from the humanitarian angle, and we do hope that the people of Borno, they would be sustained and somehow this whole situation would be ameliorated. Already I heard the water is receding. Some activities have commenced in some areas where the water has receded or the area is now dry, but more humanitarian efforts are being geared or channeled to that axis to help a lot of people who have been displaced. Okay, so now in the course of the week, there was an exclusive interview that was conducted by one of the popular television stations where the FCT minister was interviewed. And he said, I must tell you, he said quite a lot, and that's the person of Nyesom Wike. Now, one of the things Nyesom Wike was talking about was the fact that he was no longer going to support Fubara for any reason. Apparently, you could tell. And then questions were thrown at him as to why he said that he was going to put fire in the states. And Nyesom Wike said he did not mention any other state. He said the people that said that Rivers State will not be safe, he was not going to stand there and allow them to continue the threats. I want us to take a listen to this interview. The presenter in that particular interview, sometimes you will hear his voice come in. So it's just in pursuit to you having to understand what the conversation is all about. So I would implore you to kindly stay tuned and listen intensively, because this will form the basis for the conversation we're going to be having on the program this evening.
I'm investigating. See, let me tell you, I have always tried to not to respond to Papa Edwin Clark. I've always tried, but I'm human. They know I'm human. Edwin is not fair. Edwin does not love River State. He's not from River State, and he's from Delta State. For Christ's sake, for crying loud. Is it from my state? Now let me say, what is he talking about? I talk about PDP. Is he a member of PDP? Let me see his membership card. Let me me see when he contributed to PDP. Let me see how much he has given to PDP, to fight for PDP, to win in Rivers. I don't want to talk about Abibu, about the Delta. What did I say?
You said you're going to put fire into.
I said to the Governors Forum, and I repeat, without any apologies to anybody who's anywhere. For Christ's sake, for crying out loud, heaven will never fall. If I want heaven fall, there will be peace. You mean as I sit as the Minister of Federal Capital Territory from Rivers State, I was a governor? Yes. The only person I can say, I have no relationship, I never knew about his election or whatever, I have no problem. He's the governor of Zamfara. I don't know him. If I see him now, I won't even know him. I have no business. All other governors, I know them. They know me. They have a relationship. And you mean that you want to violate the processes, the constitution of our party? You came out on a national television after your meeting, read by the governor of the governor of Bauchi State, the chairman of PDP Governors Forum, who came out to read a communique with his colleagues that they are going to make sure their brother, their friend in Rivers State will take over the structure. It doesn't matter whether it is illegal or legal. It doesn't matter. It does not matter whatever process they take. And I'm sitting as a minister of FCT from that state. You look at it that there's nobody in that state. You make such a statement, and I should fold my hand because you say you're a governor, which I was never before. I was never a governor. And you look at me and tell me that, and so you telling me I should fold my hand to say everything will be well.
And that's the reason why you will put fire in their state?
You are trying to cause crisis in my state politically. What do you want me to do?
When we imagine that, politically speaking,
yes,
Governor Fubara becomes automatically your political leader.
I know. Let's not go there. I don't want to say.
I'm talking about what has operated in your party before.
No. See.
Automatically, when people become governor, they become the political leader.
The subject matter. What you ask me, so I will go to the next stage. Before we go about leadership or no leadership. You see, that's why we should not mix up my issues. You ask me here about they are saying that I say I will put fire. I'm sure that you take it so that when we finish that.
But do you regret that statement, Governor?
How can I regret? I didn't make any bad statement.
Because it connotes violence. And as though you are going to do something.
It is not correct. What is the violence?
When you say you put fire in people's state.
What is fire? It is a speech. What did I say? It's a matter of speech. Look, you want to cause crisis in my political system, in my state. You too, you also have crisis in your... I never said that Bauchi State will be on fire. I never said that Oyo State will be on fire. What's my business? All I'm saying, you don't want my state to be politically stable. You want to illegally, unconstitutionally interfere in a legitimate process, in a legal process that's going on. And you want me to fold my arm to say, because you're a governor, because you're a chairman of Governor Forum, or because you're members of Government Forum, you come to my state. People took form. People have been elected. People have been sworn in. You will use their position to now say, okay, NWC, NEC, no, cancel it. We are governors. Who told you I don't have that capacity to say, you too in your state, that crisis will be there. I'm not talking about going to Bauchi, to go and bomb Bauchi. I didn't say going to Oyo, to burn Oyo. I didn't say go to this, on national television.
So if you have power, you will cause crisis in those...
Not if I have power. The what I don't need to do with power, we are all politicians. You have tried to use your power to cause crisis in my state. No problem. I have the capacity to stand it. Me too. We'll see how. In our own little way too. We're all politicians.
But why do they see you as an outsider in your party? You say you have not left PDP.
There is nobody, no governor today in PDP. No, not anybody born of a woman.
You're working with the APC government.
No,
they think that you have your legs on one hand and your another leg on the other place.
Sure. Some of us we will have him to maintain. So before I took this appointment, I wrote to PDP. I wrote to PDP national, I wrote to PDP zonal, I wrote to PDP in my state. My governor also signed the letter. I should take the appointment. Yes, it's true. The zonal party wrote I should accept. The national, I wrote, who in PDP did not like nominate names to President Tinubu for appointment? Who?
They did?
They did, yes. Let them come to say they did not do it. You see, the problem we have in this country is that some people think they are too smart. They want to use people. I am not that kind of person. Say, what I want to do, I will do. What I will not do, everybody knows I won't do it. It doesn't mean what is that? Why when you say I'm a moon? Who is that person? I dare anybody in PDP come out on national television. I dare any governor. I dare any national working committee member to come out on national television and say, I'm a mole.
You just listened to Nyesom Wike there, daring any PDP member to come and say on national television or radio that he is an APC mole. He said he's not an APC mole. He also berated those who want to create chaos in his states. After all, Fubara is not the only state governor there. And so Nyesom Wike is daring them. He said any one of them born of the president with King Charles of London. And Madu Shehu now made a tweet. In that tweet, he said the president lied, that he actually traveled to London for medical purposes, that the picture that we saw all over the place was not a true picture of or a recent picture of the president actually visiting King Charles. So everyone was asking exactly how do you know this? And so Madi Shehu went to his X account to actually give a narration. Now, the question or the issue here is not the fact that the president traveled, all right, for medical checkup. He's not the first president to do so. Yarodua did so. Former President Muhammadu did. In fact, immediately he was sworn in. The first almost 3 or 4 months of Buhari's administration was spent in London, all right, treating himself. So the issue is the fact that it's not that he went there for treatment. He's quite elderly. He has his doctors, right? We also recall during COVID that it was because of something like this that the former president, late chief of staff, that's Abakari, passed on, because it's surprising the humongous amount of money that is being allocated in our budget to the Aso Rock Hospital or Aso Clinic, that our presidents and top executive leaders have appointments outside the country all the time. So, well, according to Madi Shehu, he said his picture with King Charles was shared to deceive people. He was at St. Mary Emergency Treatment Center in London for emergency medical care. So no matter the hide and seek, what is destined will happen. Nobody knows what he means by that statement, but that is what set the tone on X. You know, there was a video showing him with his aides, a few of his aides, all right, a block down right at that particular St. Mary's Hospital where he was trying to enter the car. But Nigerians are saying, okay, indeed, it's not a problem that the president went to the hospital to treat himself or he went for a medical checkup. But they were like, if he was in Nigeria now, you would have seen the convoy that would have accompanied him to wherever it is he's going. He was dressed very simple, very laid down, coming out from that particular hospital. And in reaction to this, the National Secretary of Coalition of United Political Parties, Peter Ame, has claimed that the ASO clinic has remained a conduit pipe under the President Bola Tinubu-led administration. He described it as anti-patriotism and misplaced priority. Ame is a former national chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. He noted that the recent revelation that President Tinubu's picture with King Charles was a ruse to conceal his emergency medical treatment at St. Mary's Hospital in London is a stark reminder of lack of transparency and accountability in government. Ame, in a statement to newsmen in Abuja, lamented that despite the claim by the All Progressives Congress administration to prioritizing healthcare, Tinubu's secret medical trip abroad exposes the true state of the nation's health infrastructure. He further claimed that after the two successive APC administrations spent a staggering total sum of 52 billion naira, President Tinubu still deemed it necessary to seek medical attention in low health infrastructure. They choose to squander public funds on white elephant projects and seek medical attention abroad. Now, you know that there was a clampdown recently on nurses and doctors having to travel abroad to start working there. And in fact, you would recall that they even gave them a certain number of years before they can do so. There is an endemic situation with our healthcare system, and it's so run down and dilapidated. During the tenure of Buhari, the federal government spent 6.4 billion naira on Aso Villa Clinic in 6 years. During the tenure of former President Muhammadu Buhari. So again, what is going on within all of these sectors, and why do they keep misappropriating funds and think that they cannot let the people know how those funds are utilized? Because what Nigerians just take, they're gullible, they take any information you reel out to them, they just want to go about their businesses, reel out all the agencies that were, all the construction companies and the agencies that were contracted to take care of the dam, the monies allocated to them, and nothing happened. And now we're seeing millions displaced in Borno State, to the extent that top Boko Haram commanders have been freed.
Yeah, the Borno incident, Esther, is very disheartening. My heart goes out to those persons, our brothers and sisters over there that lost their loved ones. It's so disheartening. These are things that could have been avoided, especially, what the biggest problem we have in this part of the world is lack of maintenance. We build and we don't, do a follow-up maintenance. That dam was built in 1984. And the first incident that happened in that dam was in 1994 after 10 years. And I want to believe that since that time, that disaster of 1994 happened, I'm not sure that that dam has had a follow-up maintenance. And that's what led to what we are seeing now. That dam is in Konduga local government right there in Maiduguri, in Borno State. And the feelers that we are getting is not just what they are showing us, that this flood is only within the Maiduguri metropolis. I listened to one of the senators, Ali Udume, from that state yesterday, and he was talking of over 7-8 local governments has this issue of this flood. But what we see in television visuals, most of these things, this matter started, is only concentrated on Maiduguri metropolis. That's to tell you the level of devastation that has happened to the people of Borno State regarding these unavoidable circumstances that led to the breaking down of this dam and endangering the life of innocent human beings. You look at the monumental destruction that just took place for something that could have been avoided, and for a dam that has people that at least are walking around the maintenance. You just realize that all the money that has been allocated for that dam to be adequately taken care of. What is even the maintenance of a dam to start with, Esther? The little maintenance is just to deseat it, because every year refuse comes in, sand comes in, and as a result it need to be desilted so that it can continuously have that appropriate shape, so that that dike you made mention of will not be overpressured. What made that dike to be overpressured is that dam had been filled up with, when you are talking of deseating, just to excavate the sand that the water has brought in. And as the water keep bringing in sand, the level of the water, in the dam keep rising. It gets to a time that dike can no longer take that that pressure. It now begin
So
to
it
cave
cracks.
in. It now begin to cave in, and that's what you are seeing here. That's the biggest problem with most of the dams. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, when we build, we don't do a follow-up maintenance, and that's what has led to this. And look at what it has cost now. We are talking about 270 something Boko Haram leaders.
74.
Are now set free. In quote, set free by the flood, because the setting free is not as if they got amnesty. And look at the number of persons. We are hearing about 30 something, but I know too well that even the governor said the number of the death is still unknown, because even as we speak, Esther, they are still trying. The rescue is still going on. So many parts of the state has not even still been able to be they've not still been able to have access to some part of the state as a result of the water. And look at the environmental impact this matter has had on the people of Borno State. We are hearing that even cemeteries, costs are assumed because of this water, the flood that came in. We are talking of the zoo, broke up, and some dangerous animal has, came out of the zoo. These are threats to human existence, human living in that Borno State. Who takes care of all this? And at the end of the day, Esther, whom is the federal government or the state government is going to hold responsible for this negligence that led to this monumental destruction of human lives and properties and all others? Then the Maiduguri that we are even talking of fragile security all this while. Now those Boko Haram leaders that left the prison again are going to be another endangered matter to the people of Borno State. Or who is going to be held responsible for all this? That's the big question we should be asking. Because tomorrow you hear that the federal government said they set up a committee, they set up an investigating panel to look into it. How many investigating panel have you heard the outcome of the result in this nation? That since I started this job, I have always been hearing, investigative panel have been set up to look into it. We don't hear the end sort of those panel. At the end of the day, that's how this matter will go. Then you leave these Nigerians now to just, be wallowing on their own difficulties that this matter has brought to them. We are only talking about it now because the federal government and the state government is still talking about palliative. By the time these people manage to go back to their respective home, nobody will take care of them any longer.
Yes, so
and their homes are
destroyed. That's what it is.
Their farmland is taken over. All their produce for this year is gone. And you know where they are going to start from?
I'm telling
you. Who is going to help
it's
to rehabilitate this person?
It's so sad. Because that dam helps with their farming. But now the flooding has eroded the farmland.
All their farmland.
Everything lost. Houses submerged.
Submerged. Who is going to
understand?
Don't even talk of the clean-up, Esther. Who is going to be talking about the clean? Do you know the environmental hazard?
I'm telling you.
I saw one of the video yesterday that one of the persons there was talking about that even the people are defecating inside the same flood.
There's nowhere for them to stay now.
We're talking about cholera outbreak. We're talking about so much of these diseases,
Wow.
But federal government is going to start talking about sharing palliative. These people should be adequately rehabilitated, kept in a better place. First of all, start with the cleaning up and help to assist to rebuild their life, not leaving them. If you leave these poor people you are going to share 10,000. What is 10,000 going to do for them? After sharing 10,000, then you release them, they go back to their destroyed home, in debt, in environmental degradation. Nobody will not care about them. Tomorrow you hear an outbreak of certain disease in that part of Nigeria. People will be talking about, how did it happen? It's accumulation of all this negligence that lead to all this. Well, I'm still looking at what Governor Zulum is going to do in this matter.
What is he going to do?
He's been an effective governor, since he was elected in 2000.
I heard that there was a team that came to check that under his purview, and they said everything is okay.
But now that it has resulted in this matter,
the same Zulum assured them that everything is okay.
The appropriate sanction should be meted out on whoever did that investigation and gave a clean bill to that dam. So that's what I'm saying.
What sanction would they take out on them? All the agencies that monies have been given to do some, will they rule them in? Will they petition them? Will they sue them to court?
People should be investigated and be brought to book because money has been released. People had to, to avoid this. And now people have died. property destroyed, then we can't. I mean, they are not supposed to just leave them like this. Esther, well, unfortunately, I was already talking about Pane. Remember the disaster that happened in Oyo State just some months ago, where they said chemicals exploded in some in a warehouse that was situated in an inside a GRA in Ibadan. Today, we heard then that investigation is ongoing. We have not heard result of it. We have heard. So I'm just looking at. Let's see whether this one may, bring in a new dimension into all the investigative panel we have been hearing in Nigeria, set up for purpose of this nature. Because Nigerians just allow those people that are involved to just go back home and be licking their wounds, which is so unfortunate.
We have other things to look into as well. Let's look at what Nyesom Wike said. He said he dares anyone born of a woman, especially in PDP, to come out either on television or radio and say that he's an APC mole. And the question has been asked, what is going on with the APC? What's his name? Dino Melaye has said that Damagum is all about his belly. That's what he looks at, because we heard that Dino Melaye was suspended from the PDP, that there were some of his utterances and statements that he had made that contradicts the constitution and rules and regulations of the party. And then now said, why have you not sanctioned Nyesom Wike? Someone that is in the PDP, supposedly polarized your party, and is working for this current administration. He literally delivered the state to the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And so Nyesom Wike went there on that live video and said, let anyone born of a woman come and tell him that he's an APC mole in PDP. And when they asked him questions about Fubara, I think I have that audio as well. He said they should not ask him anything about that. That he actually helped to secure Fubara's win. He said he worked hard to speak with the other communities that who knew him. That if not for whatever he did, Fubara wouldn't have even been in the 5th position. He wouldn't even be in number 5 position. He said quite a lot in that interview. What's your take on that, please?
Yeah, well, it's just like the story of the tortoise again. We are back to Wike's matter, regarding rivers. The tortoise will never leave stories. It's so unfortunate that he's overflogging this matter. Esther, there are so many dimensions into this Wike.
That was the question that she kept on asking.
I watched that interview that day, and I saw that he's still very much aggrieved. He's not even ready for anything like dialogue at all. So I think, first of all, he is missing it. Where I saw he's missing it that day is that you were the political leader of Rivers throughout your 8 years as governor of that state. By the design of your party, whether constitution or whatever, that by the time you are the governor of a state, you are the leader of that political party in that state. Good. Now, you actually assisted Fubara to become governor, like you said. Yes, good. But you are saying that you have a political structure, and that political structure, you remain as the leader of PDP in Rivers, when you know that when at your time as governor, you were addressed as the leader of the political party in that state. So Fubara does not have the right to assume that leadership position. I mean, that's where he's missing it. By the time you leave as governor, the next person you hand over to should be the leader of the political party in that state. I think Wike is coming out so forcefully that he is not ready to release his son, which is a big shame. He has a very big portfolio in his kitty, in this government, minister of the FCT, which is almost like another state governor in this nation. He has, came up with different rules and laws now that FCT is almost like a state now. Since he went in there, they now have permanent secretaries and all others have DGs now. The same way you have commissioners, almost like commissioners in the state. But he's not I don't know why he's so aggrieved about Fubara. You brought Fubara good. He served you well. That's why you picked him. You know the biggest issues now I saw in that crisis now, Esther, is even that he has been able to instigate the Fubara's senatorial district now to now start taking arms against him. I saw a political rally think tank of Rivers Southeast Senatorial District where Fubara comes from. Having their rally or whatever I call it, think tank meeting, they were saying that it is now their turn to have the governor of Rivers State. They are forgetting that their son is presently the from that Rivers Southeast Senatorial District. But when I was listening to Wike, I heard another, upcoming issues that this young man, Fubara, is going to contest with by 2027. He said they have only 2 local governments that are actually Ijaw local governments within that senatorial district. And that is Opobo and one other. And you know, this young man, Fubara, is from Opobo local government. Now, the other 5 local governments are saying it is now their turn to have governorship of that state.
Yes.
Belongs to them, which means Wike has already started, planting landmines for the present governor of Rivers State towards 2027, trying to pull off the rug from his feet. And that's first danger. If the homes start working against their own, you know what that means. So by the time you are talking of primaries, which is going to actually, the constituency, its own constituency is going to play a big role, bringing up persons for primaries for 2027 election, they might not pick this present governor, because unfortunately, like he said that day, his own part of Ijaw has just 2 local governments out of about 7 local governments, which means the other ones, I saw all the think tanks in that senatorial district coming out to give speech that it is their turn. I even saw the former senator Magnus Abe, he was part of them. So many of them came out that I was like, what is going on? Until I heard this from Wike, that okay, this must be another machination from Wike, now wanting to use these people, the people of Fubara, to fight him towards 2027. This very between our 2027,
yes,
there's practically nothing he can do. He has all the court cases have favored him, and the house is divided, and now we don't even know where his 25 or 27 legislator belongs.
They are still floating.
But
according to what he said, he never asked them.
Yes, now
defect.
he is now coming up with another plans towards 2027, so that it's possible that they may not give this young man ticket for him to go to continue with.
He said Shomo asked him and said, is it not possible that normally what you guys usually do is that the person runs the next time? He said it's not necessary. There's no law that indicates so.
Yes.
So it's not. It's not a certainty. It's not a possibility.
That second tenure is already threatened. But I just want his own senatorial district where he comes from, River Southeast, to know that this is their own. Then looking for somebody. He's an inquiry man, now coming in to come and set fire into their own political enclave. It's not supposed to be something that the think tanks of that senatorial district should, applaud Wike of. They should have, come around and support their own person and say, no matter whose source is God, this is our son. For this next 4 years or 8 years, as his case may be. So this threat from him, reaching out to all the other PDP governors whom he was part of before now, because he has issues with his political godson, which is not denied that
he said his political godson lied against him. He said he betrayed him. He said, according to him, he would not have emerged victorious at the polls if not for the labor of those who supported him and built structures. He was very vehement during that interview. I could feel the pain. I could feel the supposed betrayal. He said that Fubara lied, that he was asking for a certain financial allocation to him, and that's not the case. That's what he said. He said if not for him, that Fubara wouldn't even have been in the 5th position. That's number 5.
Yes.
So why is Fubara saying all sorts of things? Because according to him, he said it's not possible, and that it's almost like if I could put him there, I can remove him.
But he should remember that people also made him. He was a Minister of State for Education right in Abuja when Goodluck Jonathan and his wife supported him to become governor of Rivers. But at that time, there was a sitting governor in Rivers. Amechi was the governor of Rivers State then. He came in, dislodged Amechi, dislodged all Amechi's political structure, and became governor. So you two think that's what you did to somebody, so another person can also do it to you? Why is he carrying this matter as if it's a personal thing?
Do you know that Amechi could not go to Rivers?
No, throughout his 8 years.
All through the 8 years of Wike.
Amechi almost became a fugitive in Rivers State, where he has governed for 8 years. Now he's, the same measure he measured to Amechi, he's not seeing it like a spite on him when somebody else is saying, come, give me the opportunity to even lead my state. This young man has all the opportunity. As the governor, executive governor-elect of Rivers State, sworn in, and he's doing his job. So what everybody is saying, Wike should be part of those that should let Rivers have peace, so that developmental stride can be witnessed in Rivers State within these first 4 years or 8 years, as the case may be, for Fubara's government. Because I don't see any reason why you, are talking about APC. You know, even in that interview, he was asked his position between PDP and APC. He said he's in PDP. Good, you are in PDP. Nobody is disputing that, because I see the failure of PDP executive as a party, you know, to make a pronouncement on Wike's matter. I mean, that's a story for another day. Because even as it is, Wike is, you know, digging deep into PDP view, Esther. What is leading to the problem of Dino Melaye now? Dino Melaye said PDP is dead.
But is that not the truth?
And
I and you will be talking about it here.
Yes.
That where is the supposed second? They were number 2 after the APC. But it feels like we don't have an opposition.
The only person that is coming out to speak for PDP is the former presidential candidate.
That's Atiku.
And the where's the leadership of the party? So when he saw all the handwriting on the wall, this man cried out. And now they've taken it against him. The best thing they can do now that Dino Melaye is suspended, the person who is, you know, throwing the tantrum, you know, causing all the problem all around, is enjoying benefit of becoming the Lord in PDP. I saw the who is who in PDP yesterday in Benin, in the mega rally.
Yes.
I was happy about
and that was because Atiku was able to
Atiku
coordinate.
was there, and all the governors of PDP rally around the Godwin Obaseki. I said, if they can do this, in Benin, they should extend this, you know, telling themselves the truth on how to move the party forward. Because what we are seeing in Nigeria today is death of opposition party. The oppositions are not doing their job. That's why you see everything you are talking about APC, they come out and go with it. Because how many people are actually challenging them? You are hearing just individual voices, you know, challenging them. Somewhere like, okay, Sowore is challenging, Serap is doing their own, you know. Who else? Okay, once in a while, Atiku tweets, Obi also tweets. Is this how it's supposed to be? The parties that contested with them in the 2023 general election should have been able
New
to
Nigeria
galvanize
People's Party, SDP, all those Zenith Labour Party. Where did they all go?
That's what I'm like. Talk of a conference of United Political Parties of Nigeria, CUPP. Where are they? These are people that should have been able to come up and say, and begin to scrutinize the policies and programs of APC. And where is draconian to Nigerians? They go to the street and protest. Nigerians will support them, but we are seeing protests are now being handled by just individuals.
And now any protest now,
that is Treason. Why they are having a field day to clamp down on them, because the canopy is not thick enough. If all this political party comes together with Nigerians and say no, this policy is too stringent for Nigerians, it wouldn't have been the way we are seeing it now.
Like what happened in 2012?
But what happened in 2012?
Yes, exactly. There was a collaboration, and it worked.
Esther, even before the 2012, remember in 2009 when the former president Yar'Adua was ill in Saudi Arabia
for a while, when they refused to disclose to us while our president was not in the country.
The Nigerians were even chartering private jet to go to Abuja to go and protest. That led to the doctrine of necessity, where President Goodluck Jonathan was handed over to.
At the time, we already heard that Yar'Adua had passed on.
Yes, but
we heard that there were some persons who were trying to ensure that secret was not out.
Turai and her gang, that's the first lady there, and
her family members,
Chief Justice
even
of the Nation,
the Chief of Staff at that time,
the nation, and the former Chief of Staff, they said he can rule from anywhere, irrespective of the situation. But this is a president of a country, and a country that has its sovereignty. His president is somewhere. Remember that 2009 budget? How they even said they are taking it to him to sign in Saudi Arabia. We have seen issues.
It was a ridiculous story they told us then.
In this nation. But where are those persons now who fought for that led to the doctrine of necessity? That now losing up that stringent situation Nigerians
that was how Jonathan
where are they
emerged.
now? So today we want more of such persons. You know, and the political parties should lead them, so that we'll have a headway to confront this APC that have become like a canker worm in the flesh of Nigerians. Nigerians are not finding it easy.
It's like fish bone.
Yes,
fish bone where they drink water, you know, what pass.
Just this weekend now we heard now that Dangote refinery now is now tankers are loading for now. You know,
but NNPC is saying they bought it at 800 and something naira per liter,
yes,
as against the supposed 700 and something. So we're expecting that we'll buy petrol from NNPC at almost 900.
But they are talking about that 130 naira difference. Probably they are going to take that up as another what do you call it now, subsidy or whatever, because already the landing charge now is more than what we are even expected to see at the filling stations.
Exactly.
So if NNPC and is able to take that off, let's begin to see availability. We need it,
very
we
important.
also need affordability, and I have to give it to Serap for following up for Nigerians. How many
Exactly.
civil society organizations do you see in
So
Nigeria now
obviously,
that are doing
before
the
you
job?
go there, there's been a potent question on the fact that there was an agreement between Nyesom Wike and Tinubu. If you deliver Rivers State to me, I promise you of a position in my cabinet. That story has been rife, and that particular interview was an opportunity for the air to be cleared, because everyone is wondering how a strong opposition member is working for an opposition political party. They seem to be in tandem, and you're saying that you still belong to the
that same political party.
to the same political party. That's, you're up as an opposition that is not in power, but you're working for the government in power. So people are saying that there is something more to this. That means maybe that there was a transactional agreement between Tinubu and Nyesom Wike. Well, he broke the silence on the allegations of that particular secret deal with the president to win the 2023 presidential election. He made that clarification on that particular interview that you had.
Yes.
He denied any transactional agreement with Tinubu. He said, I never had any bargain with Mr. President before I supported Mr. President. This clarification is coming after months of speculation surrounding Wike's sudden support for Tinubu, who was declared the winner of the 2023 presidential election, and the appointment of Nyesom Wike as Minister of the FCT by Tinubu after his inauguration on May 29 further fueled the rumors or the speculation of the secret deal between the two leaders. So he said that's not the truth.
Esther, if you listen to his interview that day, he has a say. There's reasoning what he said. He said he wrote letters to the national body of PDP,
That they were aware.
the zonal, and even his state, and even his president state governor endorsed that letter. There's no problem about that. There could be a coalition government, Even in 1999, after President Obasanjo came into power, he had formed a coalition that brought in late Bola Ige and some other persons from AD then into his government. We have always seen that. But the issue is, when did this, pressure sidelining PDP comes in? And when this letter were released, what was the relationship, or what was the agreement from the national body of PDP concerning his appointment, being going to take appointment with APC after he actually worked against the success of the PDP in his state? Nobody is telling us anything about that. But that day he said that he wrote their letters, which was a good one. If they are aware of these letters and they actually endorsed him to go, what is their sanction for working against the party before coming up with, I want to pick up? He kept calling him, how far, what is the decision, until he finally heard the announcement of the hastily be suspended. But some people who have been doing this over the years are still romancing with the party and still telling the parties, and nobody can push us out. It's an aberration to PDP. PDP should go and tell themselves the truth. That jamboree we saw in Benin yesterday should not just be a jamboree on the podium of campaign. They should also lock themselves in a room and tell themselves the truth. Those people who are working against the interest of the party should find a way to be wielded at, and if they want to rebrand,
whatever, or because of the galvanization for the End Bad Governance protest. So a couple of those who were in support of this administration against Sowore were saying, you dey for Obodo Igbo, you dey galvanize your people, anything. And we were surprised. Sowore, actually, I think on Friday, he said he was going to return home soon. There was no date indicated. And he did it. He came today. I was shocked. I was surprised. That man, he came today, and then apparently he said he was detained at the airport. The immigration officer said they wanted to check something on him. So in the process of checking, he tweeted and said that he has arrived in Nigeria and that the immigration already he knew what the whole situation was all about. He said after about maybe 45 minutes or so thereabout, they told him that there is no issue and he left. Now, here is what the DSS is saying about Omoyele Sowore. Remember that they released that Omoyele Sowore was on their watch list. So the Department of State Services, they have dismissed reports that its operatives were involved in the arrest of the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the 2023 election. Now, apparently, like I said earlier, he was apprehended this morning, and Sowore also revealed on his X account that he'd been detained by the Nigerian Immigration Service. Well, according to the secret police source, the clarifications became imperative due to reports in some sections of the media that since went viral that its operatives were involved. So the officer added that they would not hesitate to use all legal means in their operations if they have any axe to grind with any individual. So the source said, I'm going to read it out. See, what I can tell you is that the name of the man in question was on our watch list before, but we had since removed it. A new DG is determined to reform and reposition the Department of State Service as a responsive organization. In that case, I want to state categorically that our officers were not involved in his arrest. He didn't say he was arrested. He said he was detained. He was kept a bit by immigration officers. So he never said he was arrested. So Nigerians should discard the fake news of the DSS involvement. In other words, the new DSS DG is saying that, the directive is that it was during Bichi's time that Sowore was placed on a watch list, but now he's no longer on their watch list, and that there is a reformation agenda on the secret police because it's due. If this is the way they want to go about it, is very good. But a lot of Nigerians were like, this man is brave. Anything could have happened to him. Anything. You know how the secret police officers carry on their activities. You can never tell what would have happened. Well, apparently, after that particular situation, he said that Nigerians should not wait until the 1st of October if they are feeling the burden of bad governance under the leadership of this administration. So this is what he said. When he was, briefly detained at the Murtala Airport today upon his arrival, when he was later released and allowed to go after his seized passport was returned to him.
Where those names, they are going to, whether they are within the country or outside the country, they are going to work out on them when they get them in their enclaves. So he's coming in this morning, and his delay by Nigeria Immigration Service is not something that was unexpected. We already, we said it in this studio that time that we know too well that the day he is going to come in, he's going to be picked. But let him not even celebrate it so much yet, because I know that even the DSS that came up with this statement, they are going to still find where to rope him soonest.
That's
because,
why I asked if this comment would impact him.
No. This is not the delay today. Might not just be the last, Esther. They are still going to find a way to rope him and pick him up.
Why?
Two things. Some Nigerians are still under trial now with the end bad governance.
Yes, where they slammed them with 10 million
10
naira.
million naira each. I have, all of them, about 10 of them, about 100 million for their bail. And investigation is still going on in that matter. They are still going to be talking about the financiers of that bad governance and all that. They could come up with something.
Most of them, actually, they galvanize on social media.
Yes, so they could come up with something and say, he was one of the financiers, let them go and investigate him and pick him up. Then even the one is saying hashtag fearless.
If they had found out that he was a financier, Mr. Elvis, the DSS would have found out by now.
No.
They would have actually before he returned. They would have apprehended him.
But do you know what is going to come out from the DSS next? They have just made statements. Do you rely on Nigerian security agents?
They said they are reforming the sector. They said that he's no longer on the watch list.
But tomorrow they will tell you a call came from above. Especially now that he's talking about Oktoberfest, fearless Oktoberfest.
He's saying that even if people want to protest,
yes, and he's even saying that you don't even need to start, looking for a specific time. It's even in this government that I now see that people are talking about we are going to protest in next month. Protest can break out at any time. And if now that he's in the country, they will see him as a bigger threat to organize the next protest, and that may even be bigger than what we saw in August. So they might come up with something else and still pick him up again. But the good thing is that even if he's picked up or is allowed to stay as a free citizen from that Oktoberfest, the matter concerning Nigeria and even how to make Nigeria better, and for somebody like him who is leading such a crusade, will always be stories and analysis in the media.
Because of this conversation we're having now, somebody sent a message on WhatsApp, said, "Good evening, Esther. Sowore is a brave man and I have more respect for him. How will it sound if Sowore and Peter Obi work together in the next election?" This is from Adams from Ejigbo.
Unfortunately, I was in this studio with him on one of the occasions when the analysis
virtually.
was done. Virtual analysis.
I think that was on Democracy Day.
Democracy Day, when he said Peter Obi belongs to the other part of the politicians too, that he cannot work with him. He used one language that day for Peter Obi, which I don't really want to use now, So he is not going to be.
Obviously
he doesn't have that relationship.
But how do you see that combo? How do you see that combo?
It's going to be difficult because what Sowore has in mind towards Peter Obi can be difficult for him to purge it out.
What if it goes beyond the personality, but about the good governance that he's driving at?
He is not even seeing Obi as one of those people that can bring good governance to Nigerians, because he said Obi has been governor for 8 years,
8 years.
and anybody should look at even his antecedent as governor in Anambra State for that 8 years.
So it's a coupling that can never take place.
He has where he's drawing his inference from concerning Obi's leadership. So it will be difficult. But if it was possible, we would have seen that, okay, one person is a kind of like radical to bringing in radicalism into government, but the other one is playing like, let us bring it down a little. Obi is not that kind of radical person. Into, but if we have such, if that combo was possible, we would have seen a better Nigeria.
That combo.
If it was possible.
Okay. Anyhow, Sha. But it's quite interesting, like I said, it made a lot of Nigerians see Omoyele Sowore in a different light, because during the End Bad Governance protest, they felt that he supposedly...
No, the people were like, oh, why are you in America?
And you're galvanizing and tweeting and everything.
Nigeria that is coming. We have seen leaders, we have seen...
No, he said the reason why he traveled is that for almost 5 years he hadn't seen his family.
Yes, he was restricted to Abuja, yes, all that before he got that judgment in his favor, and they released a travel document and all that. That this political party, APC, have brought in divide and rule. That most Nigerians don't speak with one voice now.
Anymore.
By the time you come up with anything that will liberate Nigeria, they will now read ethnicity to it and read religion to it, because there is a divide and rule from the ruling government, doling out things. Look at what happened last 2 weeks in NAS. National Association of Nigeria Students. Such a formidable body that some of us fought for June 12th. During our time, we lost sessions in school when some of us were in final year then, during that time. But today, NAS is dining with the politicians. Okay, the so-called student loan now that they promised the politicians the students over now. Have you heard much about it? I heard that some of the students complaining last week that they have not released their allowance, that they are calling on the government to release the allowance. It will also become a political thing. Next tomorrow, Esther, you'll be hearing the fraud and corruption that will have invaded and taken over the shine of that so-called student loan that they have been bragging with since they came into government. You see the corruption that will come up with from it.
It's crazy. I don't want the IBB's residents. Or what significant impact would this meeting have?
Esther, if I have anybody to actually celebrate in this nation, is the former president Olusegun Obasanjo.
Really?
Yes.
Some people have some...
No. That's my personal, my personal rating. It is somebody I like so much. He has done so much for this nation, even though sometimes some people... nobody is perfect. He will have his own criticism. He is the only one that stands shoulder to shoulder with these people and tell them the truth. Most times we don't really want to hear the truth. Sometimes, he has been labeled as letter writer. He writes letter. He speaks without looking at faces. That's one thing about General Obasanjo. He doesn't look at faces. He says the way he wants to say it. Even after saying it, then you now have to go and start complaining and start pulling him down. That's your own. But the only thing I know about it is that even his tribe, they don't really like him to that extent. But some of us know that he has done so well. This meeting, you are going to see in another 2-3 days from now, we'll be analyzing the outcome of this meeting. It's not going to be different from what we are already saying here. The nation is bleeding. We need leaders, past leaders. If not that IBB are non-June 12, one of the best leaders Nigeria would have been projecting today would have been IBB. It is so well in his administration. But the last part of it, he now used June 12 to spoil all the good deed he did. Unfortunately, that's why you see it's like everybody is like, okay, nobody should mention him. It's even telling you what he's being used for. Look at all the economic indices this man brought when he was there. He brought in DFRI, Directorate of Food, Road and Rural Infrastructure. That's, saying all the hinterland that produces food, let that be at least to the market for people to access it. That was one of his programs. He brought mass mobilization, social justice and self-reliance there in his government. He brought so many things that people, using to carry people along. He made Professor Jerry Garner the first DG of MANSA. That was what brought Jerry Garner out of lecturing in ABU into government. That today, before he became Minister for Information, he brought in Nigerians. If you look at the Nigerians he used in his administration, who is who in IBB's, he had the most robust cabinet anybody can think of in this nation. People like Professor Soyinka was part of his cabinet. People like this man from Ikene, the Baba from Ikene, what is his name now? He was part of his government. The man that owns Mayflower School, Ikene. He was part of his government. He was the chairman of People's Bank then. I'm talking of Tasolari, late Tasolari. These were people that he galvanized. People like
Tai Sholari.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. He was part of his government. He was the chairman of People's Bank. He brought People's Bank to give soft loan to market women and others for them to survive. He brought Chuo Kongwo. He brought General Wanchuku, your son name as Minister for External Affairs.
Very, very small. All these people you mentioned, I was very small.
I know. So this he used the Babana Professor. Chief Olufalai was his minister for finance and sometimes also secretary to the state government. He brought who is who, and the government did well to some extent. But fast forward to 1993 June 12, when the June 12 election was announced, Nigeria could not forgive him. But this meeting, let us see, even as the meeting is ongoing, whatever comes out of the meeting is still going to be in the glare of the press. I saw at Osalam Abubakar in my state, the former president.
All right,
general.
Mr. Elvis, let's try and see how we can open the phone lines right now and, of course, begin to read out some messages. But for now, Peter Obi has reacted. You remember during the Trump debate with Kamala Harris, and the following day, we saw a media spokesperson of this administration write that Peter Obi is just like Donald Trump. Well, Peter Obi has responded, and he condemned the presidency for what he claims is a futile effort to tarnish his reputation by drawing comparisons to the American presidential election. And this was a statement released through his media office today, titled "Why Desperate Obi Traducers Are Kissing the Dust," and signed by his spokesman Ibrahim Umar. Obi accused the presidency and its allies of attempting to distort facts in a bid to damage his impeccable image. And he said they are desperate propagandists and they are presidential enablers to use the American election scenario as a weapon against him. And he described these efforts as not only misguided, but also futile in their attempt to undermine his credibility. I told you, I think this was during the week where I said that there is a deliberate attempt to mudsling him. Every little situation, they attach the whole thing to Peter Obi. One of such persons is Reno Mokri. I don't understand what happened. Reno Mokri has taken it upon him like it's a mandate that he will stand on, that this is what he will do. And I don't understand why that is the case. I don't know precisely what the issue is. And I can't explain the scenario, because you have an Atiku Abubakar as well. You have, in fact, it got to a point that Reno Mokri said he will be disappointed with Atiku if he considers a vice presidential slot for Peter Obi. As in, it has gotten to that point of such a statement. And then we had a debate, American debate, between Trump and Kamala Harris. And then the following day, somebody is attaching the whole thing to Peter Obi. And the question is like, Ogeni, what's in there happen?
Well, Obi is a Democrat, and Nigerians have taken it to be so. And you can imagine, you don't expect this government.
But do you think the attack on his person is, according to how they say, he's a nice person? Kenneth Okonkwo said Nigerian politics does not require being nice or sweet. So they refer to him as being nice and a sweet man. Do you think that's the reason why they think at any point in time they can just call his name anyhow and say stuff?
We should even be happy with such person. Somebody that is not talking of violence into politics. That's what has brought us to where we are now. You saw the ethnic strife violence in 2023 general election.
It's still on. If you go on X, it's still on.
And Obi is not that kind of person, and he will never support it. So if that is even his fault, then it means he is bringing in maturity and civilization into the democratic system we are practicing. Because democracy is supposed to be something that is supposed to be sweet. Because before it became the most popular form of government that the world is talking about, let's go for democracy, it has been tested. And it may not be the way that is practiced in the US. That is how it will be in Nigeria in total. There could be some little variation that will suit our cultural and whatever system here. But democracy is, a government that belongs to the people. Now, if the people must be mentioned in it, which means the people itself have the utmost right to guide it jealously. So, and if to guiding it jealously means that you must bring in people who are not violent, who will not, truncate the system that they are trying to entrench, and tell the world that is the best. So, whatever the government is talking about, they are full soldiers like Renan Okri, Daniel Boala that I started seeing, and some of them are, bringing him down. it is not even them that will give the vote. It is Nigeria that will give the vote when the time comes.
All right, the number for you to call is 0700 903 903 903. Remember, we told you it's an interactive session right here. Like I said, there's quite a lot of issues to discuss on the political spotlight. But hey, we need to hear from you. 0703 903, that's the number for you to call. And of course, the WhatsApp number to send your messages to. And you can also call via WhatsApp is 0817 1756 338. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening. Esther, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
To your guest.
How are
You have
you?
been a very great job.
Thank you.
You don't go far.
Thank you.
That's too much now. Too much.
Go ahead, sir.
Esther, all the time we are hearing that the Boko Haram escape. All the time Boko Haram escape. Must you be keeping terrorists that kill soldiers, that kill innocent citizens, that have no cause of fighting, just unleashing them on innocent Nigerians? And when you catch them, instead of you to kill them, you can't keep them in prison. Before the Nigerian military will catch Boko Haram, about 200 soldiers' life must have been gone. Then there is problem now. You will say that they broke prison. Boko Haram commanders escaped. Why keeping Boko Haram commanders? Why not finish them off? Okay, so look at what we are crying now. Look at you now analyzing what is happening in the north now. How many of them are talking about it? Northern elders, Arewa Consultative Union, all those things, that are those people that are making noise. Look at what is happening in their place now. We are talking of, they will not talk. All of you, Babangida, you say that is voting Obasanjo. Have you heard Babangida condemn terrorists? There is illegal mining in Niger State, and they are killing farmers. Babangida have never condemned it. Absalami have never condemned it. All of them are comfortable with what? Northerners are very comfortable with suffering and killing themselves. That is one thing with them. We should stop talking about them. Let them, anything they like, let them drink pool water. That one concerns them. They are comfortable.
Hey.
I don't understand the type of people they are. They are very wicked.
That's their leaders now.
Government pressure. All their politicians.
It's
all
their
the money.
leaders.
There's no development in their place. All they specialize is to groom terrorists and be sending them. Tomorrow night you start seeing 1,000 people with the trailer coming to Lagos, going to Omoyele, going to Port Harcourt, going to Aba. They will be sending all these people in Maiduguri. Okay, why gathering 400,000 people in the IDP camp? Well, how can you feed them? These people are used to suffering. They are comfortable with suffering. We are the ones. So, Hausa people are there not in Lagos. How many of them rise up and condemn it? You to skip Peter this month, and all of them will say DSS arrest people. Why can't they command DSS to arrest terrorists? They are comfortable with all this rubbish. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Ben. All right, thank you for calling 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Name and location, please. Hello, sir. All right. Maybe you should call us back. You put on the speaker of your phone. So please, when you call, try as much as possible to turn off your listening device, your radio. Hello. Good evening, Mr. Charles, for real.
Hey, good evening.
How are you, sir?
Fine, oh.
All
Fine.
right.
I get your guests in the house, oh.
Thank
With
you.
a gentleman.
Good evening,
My brother. His analysis, in fact, the guy always hit the nail on the head. In a very palatable way that even the government will not even say anything. Good evening, bro.
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so actually, if not for the fact that I cannot, this is our platform, our VOP, to start saying certain words, I would have had some words to tell him. But the truth is that when he was a governor, he owns all structure in that state. You sure you understand me? You get me? So after he left the office of the governor, he's supposed to leave virtually all the political structure in that state. But he's still making things worse for the Liberty people and for the governor himself. You know, it's very, very absurd. In fact, it's not okay. One man cannot make a forest. And again, power is transient. We feel that he's having power now for the central government. Do you understand me? And again, on that thing again, it should be because of is that anything can happen to anybody anytime.
That's true.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen to anybody anytime. And on this Boko Haram thing, why is our government doing like this? Should we start talking about probably insulting them or something? Do you know what it costs for one American U.S. Marine for a non-civilian person to kill just one American Marine? These men have been killing our army. Is it that the presidency are not aware about these things? I'm so astonished though. Well, hello?
I'm listening to you, sir.
So is it that the presidency are not aware? Is it that the president himself is not aware about all these things? Soldiers, okay, now soldiers keep dying every day. Civilians keep dying every day. And there are some kind of people that doesn't have, sorry to say, doesn't have good sense of thinking. I watched some videos the other day. I almost shed tears. You know something? If it's a far relation to this man, or if it's his grandson, or even if it's his son or his daughter that this happened to, how will you feel? Those people have family. Those people that die, they have family, like me and you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I sincerely do appreciate you calling. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I am the ex-owner from Otta.
From Otta. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to say something. Now, we are talking about opposition coming together to, question this government and all that. You cannot compare this particular government with the government of PDP. PDP have this, the presence ability of PDP cannot be compared with that of APC. And because of that time, most of those things APC did to PDP. If you try it now, you cannot succeed. I'm telling you. And again, Nigerians are divided. A Peter Obi cannot come out the way Tinubu came out in 2012, and they will not label it Igbo agenda. It's not possible. We all know all these things. If Peter Obi should come out and stand the way Tinubu stood in 2012 against Jonathan, people call it Igbo agenda. It will happen. You understand? So there is division everywhere. We can't go together. Even me as an Igbo person, I don't go to Twitter again because I want to safeguard my emotions and other things. My mental health is very important. I don't go to Twitter again because of the kind of things, abuses, and everything that go on there. So is that the people that want to come together and fight for good governance? That is the first NPC did it, in my own opinion, is that first of all, they ensure that there is division. Because I noticed that there were several accounts, new accounts, that were just spreading hate on Twitter. Just to ensure that there is no division, there is no togetherness between ethnic groups in Nigeria. That's the first thing they did. Now, if I want to criticize Tinubu now, they will say because I'm American, that's why I'm saying it. If somebody Chukudi wants to talk, they will say because you are Chukudi, you don't like Yoruba government. These are the things happening. It cannot work. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Good evening.
Good evening, Esther Machiku.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening, sir.
Fine, thank you. Happy Sunday.
Same to you, sir. Please go ahead.
For him. He may not even complete this first term of office. Talk less of going for the second term in 2027. Because the case is still in court. The Supreme Court will still decide. And if the Supreme Court decides in favor of the State Assembly, then it's gone. He may be impeached at long last. So he may not even see the end of 2027, talk less of going, 2027, talk less of going to another term. That is that. Then for Sowore, I commend his efforts for coming back to Nigeria this time around. But you should be very careful because if he's thinking of October issue, as he has boasted, it may not be easy for him. But I really commend his efforts, at least for coming back. He has shown courage. Then finally, for a passenger, going to meet his godfather, because I see him as his godfather, IBB, and of course, Abdul Salam Abubakar. Two of them are godsons. Like Abdul Salam Abubakar and Obasanjo are godsons of Ibrahim Babangida. Politically, we know that in Nigeria. We observers of politics. You understand? He brought Obasanjo from prison to make him the president in 1999. While after Abacha, immediately Abacha died, he brought him up. But be that as it may, let it be very clear that Obasanjo was lucky during Abacha's time when he was, tried for treason, for treasonable felony. That is that attempted coup as it were. You understand? So, but he may not be lucky this time around because I see him as a headline seeker. That is headline in news, in the press. So he likes seeking publicity. So you have to be very careful because this time around, if there's any way he's going to make sure that this government is brought down, he may go in for it. And Bola and thank God they are from the same tribe. So you have to be very careful. Because what I'm saying is that the last National Council of State was not there. Yeah, so we know Ibrahim Babanga's health condition. But you have to be very careful. That's my submission for now.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And you can also send a message on WhatsApp, or some of you who are in diaspora who want to actually be part of the conversation, you can actually call us on our WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, name and location, sir.
Okay, my name is Rasta King. I'm calling for Ogo.
All right, sir. Rasta King, please go ahead.
Yeah. What am I saying is that there's not anything in this Nigeria has already been done like this. It's better for all these things for this Nigeria. Let us share this country, everybody to go, because this country you are seeing like this. We are suffering a lot. We are continuing a year, complaining. After one in order, this one will come up, another people will see come up, the same thing, complaining. Let the government come together on one table and share the country, everybody go together. So everybody will stop in this tribalism and this hatred life in this country. It's obvious. People should be understanding this our level now in this Nigeria. Everybody are crying. People are dying. When you're walking on the street, people are doing some kind of life because of dirty life in this country. This kind of government exists. Is it existence? Not existence. It's better to come to a round table and share the country. Everybody goes their own way. So the tribalism, everybody going way. You go and control their own. People will go and control their own. Other one we go and control their own. We did a competition of nations. Everything is going around. You can see it. Look at us, everybody's are crying every day. Everything's arising. The fuel we cannot go into buy again. We are not buying fuel again. We are not buying anything again. Look at it. To come out to eat 3 times in a day now is hard. Even though you eat it once, you thank the God, say, God, thank you for what? Please, that's what I'm doing, my own contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Okay, so let me read out some WhatsApp messages right here. Some of you had already said sending messages in 638. Why are the criminal politicians more secure and protected than a regular common laborer in Nigeria? Okay, you did not put your name. Please always put your name when you send messages, all right? Thank you very much for that. Okay, good evening, VOP. My take is on Borno disastrous flood. The main reason why most Nigerian leaders are not proactive to disaster prevention is they tend to become heroes and heroines by providing palliative to the affected people after any preventable disasters. This is so because the palliative benefactors, being uninformed, think that the palliative being provided are from the private pockets of their leaders, not knowing that the palliative is provided with their hard-earned taxpayers' money. Please let the information media educate the people that provisions of palliative and other infrastructural facilities are from their taxpayers' money. Agege from Agege. Thank you so much, Agege. And that's the truth. All right. Any palliative you get is from your taxpayers' money. It's not from the pockets of your representative in government. And that's what Agege is saying. It's your taxpayers' money. That's why you pay tax. So when there is an emergency like this, those funds are utilized to help you. So the government is not, they're literally performing their responsibilities when some of these palliatives are shared. It's not their personal fund. It's not charity. I think that's what Agege from Agege Egege from Agege is saying. So thank you so much for that particular educational advice. Now, good evening, guys. What Wike is saying, it means what we have with Jega is not election, it's anointing. A strong man can come publicly in a national TV to boast that he can put and also remove a candidate. Wike said Fubara would have been number 5 if it means our political rulers will know the best candidate, but will rather install ill-qualified persons. Omalicha from Ogba. All right. Good. And there's no truth from what Wike is saying that he isn't working for APC to collapse or destroy PDP. My personal opinion and understanding, Wike is strongly working for APC to make sure that PDP is dead. On Maiduguri flood, Nigeria political class do not value the lives of their people, and why the billions budgeted to repair the dam ended up on individual pockets from Iwoha Ikechukwu. Tinubu should call his minister Wike to order to allow Rivers State people have peace, because he's receiving the measurement he measured to Rotimi Amici when he, Wike, was a Rivers State governor. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Iwoha Ikechukwu, for that particular message. Let me take more messages. All right. Okay. So good evening, Esther, and the guests in the studio. We shouldn't be surprised that Sowore came back home. He has shown the bravery that Yorubas are known for, unlike the real cowards that are fond of calling Yoruba cowards. Whereas we knew who ran away to Ivory Coast in the middle.
He's going
Why
tribal.
now?
That's
Why
what
would
we're
you?
talking about.
Why would you say this? Please do not
this one will
send.
not help Nigeria
Don't send
in this situation we are
incendiary
now.
comments.
I mean,
This is what we're talking about. We're talking about real issues here, and you're bringing in tribal sentiment. I mean, it's now not be the problem of this country. I beg.
That's what has now come into the psyche of Nigeria.
Tribal. Like, we're talking about serious issues. There's a disaster in Borno State. Innocent persons died, regardless of the misappropriation of democracy, but ran like rats when the heat was on. To some,
when Wike was doing those things to Amechi, he had the support of somebody. Who is your backbone? He had the presidency supporting him. Today again, when he's reacting to the incumbent governor, he has the presidency supporting him. So it is not about him, it is about your backup. When you see people have to look for the source of their power, it is not particularly about him. It is what the backup is getting. And I still want to counter your guess.
Mr.
To some extent, you are saying that, yes, that it should be sanctioned or removed for anti-party. Wike is acting as a politician. You cannot be a Maida person and be into politics in Nigeria. You cannot be civil and be doing politics in Nigeria. Yes. And it's on that basis. So I want to disagree with those who are saying Obi, even if I'm not a fan of Obi, that they are liking Obi to
Donald Trump,
former president of US. I want to liken Obi, Trump and what is it called? Wike. I want to liken Fayose as somebody like Donald Trump, not Obi. Obi kind of civility is not for Nigerian politics.
At all. That's what I was saying.
Obi and former president of Nigeria,
Goodluck Jonathan.
Billy Jonathan.
Yes.
They are too civil to be in this climb.
So you're amongst those with the line of thought that Obi is too nice. Eh?
I would not want to use the adjective that is too nice.
Like Kenneth Okonkwo said.
It's not for the kind of Nigerian politics, this environment. This place is meant for the people with the heart of lion.
Okay.
Political cannibalism. If you want to be into politics in Nigeria, you must be able to eat other animals raw. And that is what Wike does.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your message. All right. I sincerely do appreciate it. Thank you for calling in. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, Esther.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
How are you?
I am fine, sir. Thank you for calling. Name and location, please.
My name is Ayeko Tito.
Okay.
Ayeko Tito, calling from the Two-State Bita Estate.
All right. Okay.
My own contribution to this program, I thank your man in the front of you.
Okay.
Good evening,
I thank
sir.
your well done, sir. I thank your registration for allowing us to speak our mind and to the detention to be down. One, I'm talking in respect of what happened at Maiduguri concerning the dam. When you are reading the amount collected, one, because of money is the root of all evils. Money, power, position. See what has happened to lives and property. They don't care. They are lost and property has lost. They've forgotten that no situation is permanent. So the government or we human beings, we should fear. I'm talking spiritually, pardon me. They brought nothing, we brought nothing, and won't take anything. Then there's judgment for every step taken by each and every one of us. Because I wept when I saw what happened to the people of Maiduguri. It's saddening. Then, number two, concerning some people in this country, talking as if they are gods. They've forgotten that nobody knows next month or the end of this year. They are now boasting of 2027. Boasting of 2027 when they haven't concluded 2024. They are chasing shadows. Boasting 2027. Lastly, I just appeal to the election coming on Saturday. They should do it very well. They should do what is righteous. If they do yama yama, they will see the results, because if you plant evil, the evil will germinate. If you plant a corn, you cannot plant beans. Those involved, the politicians, INEC, the personnel, the security personnel, the police, the army, and the whatever security. There's nothing done that is even. Later or sooner, it will germinate. The INEC in particular and the politicians, they should be very careful. They should be very, very careful. After all, we are all, including myself, we are maggots. Thank you, ma.
They no fit do nyama nyama. That's my state.
Thank you for calling.
They no fit try am. We are too civilized for that.
Let me read some messages. Okay, good evening, Esther, to your guest. I want to tell your guest the medium Wike became governor was not same with Fubara. I recall in 2015, Wike was the only choice to contest with Amaechi's preferred candidate. Fast forward to 2023, when Wike brought Fubara, Wike fought all odds to ensure it was Fubara. My brother at the studio, put yourself in Wike's shoes. How will you feel after advancing someone and the person betrayed you? Fubara have always seen Wike as his Oga until Fubara was deceived by saboteurs and they lied to spoil Wike's name. All right, so you didn't put your name here now. She has actually been trying to call.
He should not be too selfish in using his own interest to bring Rivers into chaos. That's what we are talking. We are no longer talking about whether Fubara is loyal to him or not. Now we are talking about the generality of the Rivers people, what they stand to benefit in a stable and peaceful atmosphere, allowing Fubara to have his regime and have it peacefully, so that the people can have the benefit of the dividend of democracy. He's taking it too far. He has helped him quite well. In this world, somebody must be helped by somebody. Somebody helped him to get here.
Right. Okay. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes.
Esther.
Good evening, sir. Name and location, please.
Yes. My name is Mr. Made, calling from Egypt.
All right, sir. Go ahead. You have a minute.
Yeah. All these things we are saying. The major thing in life is your conscience.
Okay.
What is in your mind? What is in your conscience? I discovered that this APC government don't have conscience. They don't have Nigerian people in mind. Whatever they are doing it on their own selfish interests. Like what all Wike is doing. Wike is doing everything on his own selfish conscience, like the guest there is saying. Wike is not doing it for the purpose of the River State.
At all.
And that is what the men Asoro people there are doing. Their own selfish interest. That is why Nigeria is not moving forward. Whatever they are doing, they are not thinking of Nigerians. If they are thinking of Nigerians, Nigeria could have done better by now.
All right,
The problem
thank you.
is this: they've said their conscience. I hope and I believe that God will restore Nigeria to do things good.
All right, thank you very
That's the
much. Some people are trying to call on WhatsApp, but it keeps dropping. When I try to pick it, it keeps dropping. So maybe you should send messages instead, because you're trying to call in and the call keeps, I don't know, it just keeps dropping. By the time I want to pick it, it drops. Okay, so good evening, Esther. I am the ethanol from Otta. Please, since the people who eat all the animals raw have been ruling us and we have achieved nothing but retrogression, can we now please try people who will cook the animal to softness before eating it and see if we can get a different result? Because you can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. Okay, thank you. This person says they should. Good evening, my people in the studio. My take on Wike is that I blame PDP for not protecting its own, the governor of Rivers, by suspending him from the party for anti-party activity. Kingsley from Iba. That is, they should suspend Nyesom Wike for anti-party activities. Okay, this name is... Okay, I'm clicking. Mr. Wahala Boy, good evening, sir. Hello? Oh, wow. So any call that comes in on WhatsApp, I don't know, it keeps dropping. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. Name and location, please.
It's good evening to your guest, Mr. Evie.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Evie, you sound like a friend or a childhood friend of mine, but I never knew until one day maybe we'll meet face to face. My name is Mr. Oscar.
Mr.
Oscar.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm calling for Badagry. Yes, about the flood disaster, they have been on the news for quite some time now. You know, sometimes human being, truly, we do things without maintenance. Yes, human beings, the way we handle things in Nigeria here, we don't have maintenance culture, but it's true, it's just unfortunate. You understand? And the people there and the governor, those money truly they have been allocated to maintain those projects. It has been siphoned by those who have a financial greedy mind. So that is why anytime the prices come up, prices will continue to come up because the politicians there, they are not ready to do anything. I'm very sure one day they will realize their mistakes and place the correction on their state to make sure that disaster have some remedies.
Okay.
You see, Mr. My brother Eddie, he said a tortoise and the story. In my language, we said a week for worker. That is how we use it. You see,
you are right, sir. You are right.
Sir, I don't know what is going on the call. The net. I don't know if it's a network or it's an earpiece or something. Okay, Remy is calling. Remy, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, Remy. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for picking my call, and I want to commend you and those fantastic broadcasters in your station for holding the ground.
Thank you. Thank you, Remy.
I want
Thank
to
you,
beg,
sir.
please, let us understand one thing. If God used you to help other human beings, you should consider it a privilege. So that is not an opportunity for you to install yourself as God. Okay? If God used Esther to give me a cup of water, God just used you. Because if Esther refused to be used, God would have used someone else.
Yes.
So, Wike's position, saying Fubara is ungrateful, that's not how to live life. Is that you can never be above every other person. And it is important for people to understand their limits and their standard. Wike needs to be talked to. It needs to be won. If you put Fubara there, people help you too. Esther, where you are today, you have people in your life.
Yes,
me, Remy, where I am today, people help me. Everybody, I need you to survive. You need me to succeed. And when you use me to succeed and you now install yourself as my thank you.
Remy, thank you so much for calling. We can't take any more calls, so let me read the remaining WhatsApp messages. Good evening, all. I want to talk about the issue of Wike. I believe one day God Almighty will judge him in life. Nothing is permanent. And as regards Mr. Peter Osifo saying something about former President Olusegun Obasanjo, can he tell what achievement this government has done for Nigerians? People like Mr. Osifo, we know people like him, and God Almighty will judge him. I came from Lagos. Okay, this is Michael from Surulere. Good evening, everyone. Please read this loud. Nigerians' problem isn't division but confusion. China, 1.8 billion people and the second largest economy in the world. Even if the country divides, the people will still complain that the leader isn't from my hometown or city. The leaders are the problem. Very wicked because they know what to do but refuse to do the needful. And the people are too scared to do the right thing. But criticism has taken a greater part of them. Michael from Surulere. Well done for that message. Good evening, Esther, my brother in the studio. I appreciate the VAP's effort towards improving the nation. Those bringing in tribalism here should stop it, please. Mr. Mike Nweke from Akwakwa. Mr. Mike, thank you so much. Thank you for that.
That's
actually, because I don't understand why you will send a message that is defamatory, that is incendiary, that is denigrating. It's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. You have no right to call in or send messages and start making comparisons and abusing tribes and all whatnot. This is the very thing we are talking about. How do you intend to question the government if you decide to keep yourselves divided? So they distract you, you remain in that distraction, and you're not holding anybody accountable. They want you to fight yourselves, and you're fighting yourselves based on tribes that have intermarried, intermingled. I don't understand why that would be your prerogative when people are dying. There is hunger. School. Do you know that they've increased school fees by more than
35 to 100 Lagos State.
Mr. Elvis, in a minute, just round off.
Yeah, Esther, I just want to quickly give a little bit of what Wike should know, a little bit of the history of Rivers.
Okay.
We have had JT Spiff as one of the first military administrators of Rivers State. Then let me not even go into the military administration. Let me even go to the democratic government. We have late Chief Mefod Okilo, 1979 to 83, Rivers State. Then we now fast forward to when we now had Chief Peter Odili.
All right.
Then we have Rotimi Amechi. Before him, Wike. He's on Wike. Then before this young man, Fubara, similar Fubara. That's to tell you that Rivers State is a state. Then they say, soldier go, soldier come, barracks remain. So all these governors I made mention of, Esther, they've at one time governed Rivers State. They never tore it apart. They left it for the next person to take over from where they stop. So Wike should also know that his time in Rivers has expired as governor for after 8 years. So he should let this young man Fubara do what he's going to do. It is left for the Rivers State people to say whether we need him for a second term or not, or whether we don't even need him in these first 4 years. Not Wike telling the world that he hurt him. He has destroyed the political structure he built. What is political structure? The political structure is the people. You could build a structure and the people don't like it, they tarnish it. Is it not even be broken now? Because people are saying that he's overzealous, he's selfish, he's greedy. He's want to take what belongs to this man away from him. So he's losing it. So he should surrender in whatever action he has or whatever is working for him in Abuja. Let him face the administration of FCT, which the present government has given him. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elvis. I sincerely do appreciate you coming in the studio and giving us insight and sharing your wealth of knowledge. To be honest with you, I sincerely do appreciate you.
Thank you, Esther.
Taking your time and coming here all the time on Sundays, especially for the past 1 month now, Mr. Elvis. I sincerely do appreciate you. For those of you who called and sent messages, thank you so much for following up on the program. We'll continue to stay true and firm in what we do. Follow our social media handles at Esther Nwaz, Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. Do have yourselves a wonderful evening, and bye for now.
You are tuned to the city's #1 super dial,